day. First quickie will go to the world of horse racing, where when we last left off, we were heading into the Preakness, the second leg of the three legs that make up the Triple Crown in horse racing. The Kentucky Derby winner this year going into that race was a horse by the name of Nyquist, who had never lost a race heading into the Preakness a few weeks ago. Was the heavy favorite. However, it was a muddy track with muddy conditions, and we knew that made Exaggerator the next, the most likely then to pull off an upset. And that is exactly what happened. Nyquist led most of the way, but Exaggerator was able to come from behind on the final leg and win the race by 3.5 lengths. Cherry Wine actually finished in second. Nyquist came in third. Stradivari in fourth, who we had an eye on as well. So that was a disappointing finish for Nyquist, and that's why you didn't hear anybody talking about the Preakness and horse racing the following week or ever since then. It's such a problem with horse racing. How come if there isn't a horse winning the Triple Crown or contending for the Triple Crown, nobody cares? And then when it does win or when it doesn't win, nobody cares. We need some consistency from the actual horse racing world and horse racing fans here. Holy cow, it was one muddy freaking race at Pimlico for the Preakness if you didn't watch it or haven't seen video footage. Now, I don't believe this to be an excuse for the results, but Nyquist, the heavy favorite, was found to be ill shortly after the race concluded. He's better now. Nothing set in stone for sure on when his next race will be or what the rest of his plans for this summer and his racing career will be. But we'll keep a casual eye out for it, and if and when anything is announced there, we'll let you know on the show. Alright, but that's enough freaking horse racing talk. Are you kidding me? Moving on to our next quickie, which brings us to the world of tennis, one of my favorite sports, especially as a child growing up. I absolutely loved playing tennis, and I still love playing and watching the game of tennis. We are, as I mentioned earlier in the show, in the second major of the tennis season this year. That has us at the French Open, where we are already in the quarterfinals of the French Open. Excuse me, the quarterfinals actually on the men's side at least just wrapped up today, and the semifinals on the men's side start tomorrow here, Friday. Well, technically it's today now. It's how long it's taking me to do this and how late I'm recording it tonight. But so here Friday, June 3rd, is when the semifinal rounds start, at least on the men's side in the French Open. And that sees number 1 seed Novak the Joker Djokovic taking on 13 seed D Time, however you say that. And then on the other side, we've got 2 seed Andy Murray taking on 3 seed Wawrinka. Djokovic beat 7 seed Berdych in the quarters. Time beat 12 seed Goffin in the quarters. Murray beat Raskit. And Wawrinka beat unranked Ramos Vanilos. So that's how we got to the semifinals. I would definitely expect the Joker to easily win and advance to the finals. Whether he'll be taking on Murray or Wawrinka, I'm not sure. I guess I'd have to look more into Wawrinka's, strength and skill set on those clay courts that they have in the French Open, because that's one thing I like about the majors in the tennis tournament is with the court and playing surface that they have, both at Wimbledon on the natural grass and at the French Open at the clay. You really get different experiences, different just games and matches overall, where different strategy and different skill sets play a factor, and I like that about tennis. But so I'm definitely picking Djokovic to make it to the finals. I'll go with Wawrinka to upset Murray here. I don't know why I'm not feeling Murray at the French. And then we'll go with Joker to win the French as usual. Then let's see, on the women's singles side here, same thing, quarterfinals wrapped up, semifinals getting underway here on Friday. And in the quarterfinals, we had 4 seed Muguruza advance in straight sets over unranked Rogers. We had 21 seed Stosur advance in straight sets over unranked Perenkova. Then we had the 1 seed Serena Williams advance in 3 sets after losing the first one to Putnidinya. I don't know how you say that. And then in the other quarterfinal match, we had 8 seed Basinski over unseeded Burtons. So an unseeded entrant in all of the quarterfinal matches on the women's side. Only one advances. In the semifinals, it will be Serena Williams, 1 seed, versus unseeded Burtons, taking on, and then you got to think Serena's going to win that pretty easy. And then so in the finals, she will take on the winner of 21 seed Stosur from Australia and 4 seed Muguruza from wherever the frick that country's flag, whatever country flag that is there. I definitely see Serena advancing to the finals to take on the 4 seed Muguruza, and I think Serena is going to win yet another major title here at the French Open. All right. So now we are at our final topic of the day before we get to our closing balls deep thought, and we find ourselves, as we do quite often here towards the end of the show, in the world of pro wrestling. Before we get to all of the huge WWE news, we will check in on Lucha Underground to start things off. I mentioned, 2 weeks in a row here without Katrina on the program. I really don't like that whatsoever. Hopefully this next Wednesday corrects that. But boy, this week was a phenomenal show. Every match on the card this week was exceptional, even the opener. The main matches were the second and third matches. The second match featured the Trios titles being defended by new Trios champions Johnny Mundo, better known by WWE fans as John Morrison, or Johnny Nitro even, if you go back that far. But it is him and PJ Black, formerly known as Justin Gabriel in the WWE, and Jack Evans, one of my absolute favorite wrestlers in Lucha Underground. Just an amazing heel character who does a great job. Just tons of heel charisma, as well as amazing athletic moves. They are your current champions. They won the champions from the most recent champions, which was the team of Dragon Azteca Jr., Rey Mysterio Jr., and Prince Puma. They lost it last week, and then they got disqualified here in their rematch this week. So they are out of that title picture, moving those people back into large single superstar roles, I'm sure, as they belong. And then the main event was Cage, the Machine Cage, cashing in, for lack of a better term, his Gift of the Gods title opportunity to take on current champion Monster Matanza Cueto. And that match was incredible. Oh my Lanta. Did not disappoint whatsoever. Matanza retained after just an incredible match, as they almost always are on Lucha Underground. So keep tuning in to Lucha Underground if you're a wrestling fan. Every Wednesday night on the El Rey Network at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time is the first airing of the new weekly episodes. And if you're a wrestling fan and you're not watching Lucha Underground, you're not a wrestling fan. All right, so we find ourselves now in the universe of the WWE, where there has been major, groundbreaking, earth-shattering news announced since the last time we were hanging out with each other talking sports, and that is that starting on Tuesday, July 19th, SmackDown is going to be airing live on the USA Network, in addition to Monday Night Raw airing live on Mondays on the USA Network. It is about freaking time that SmackDown went live. The ratings are gonna see a remarkable difference, in my opinion, especially right away. But I think over time, even when it dies down, you're gonna see that just because the show is live, all of a sudden now people are gonna take it seriously and give it some legitimacy and tune in and watch. So brilliant move, necessary move, long overdue move on the WWE part. We got Seth Rollins back. We got John Cena back now too. He returned last week on Raw. AJ Styles turned heel, coming out and attacking John Cena. Boy, what else do we got? Stardust was released. So was his wife Eden, smoking hot at ring announcer. Oh, and how could I forget? With SmackDown going live, the phrase brand extension has been brought up quite a bit, and my sources, which are pretty reliable, tell me that there is in fact going to be a brand extension, which means that there will be unique rosters on Raw and on SmackDown. There will be many superstars, if not all, that aren't champions, that will only be allowed to be on the one of the two shows. You will have to tune in to SmackDown every week to see Dean Ambrose if you are a Dean Ambrose fan. For example, I'm not saying that as a fact, I'm just saying a very good chance that, for example, if you're a Dean Ambrose fan, he will no longer be on Raw ever, or at least for a long time after July 19th. And so you will have to tune into SmackDown to watch him, for example. Not saying that specifically. But so it's creating a ton of interest, a ton of buzz. It makes all kinds of sense. Hopefully it has a positive, what I'm hoping for, more than anything, is that it has a positive impact on the health and injury epidemic that has been going on in WWE lately. Hopefully the splitting of the shows and the rosters allows wrestlers more time for their bodies to recover, more time to practice the actual stunts that they will be performing in the ring at shows. And hopefully we're not going to see all these stars going out with injuries on a very regular basis the way we have for the past 1 to 2 years here in the WWE. And I am told that there will be a draft to determine which stars are on which show, and that will occur on the Monday, July 11th episode of Monday Night Raw, the week immediately before SmackDown goes live. The main and really only question, other than which stars are going to be on which show, that remains is who is going to be running each show, with the dual, with both McMahon siblings now firmly written into the WWE product and overall storyline. You've got to imagine that one of them is going to be given a show and the other one will be given the other show, and that they will be competing against each other in those regards. So it just remains to be seen if Raw goes to Shane McMahon or if Raw goes to Stephanie McMahon, and then the other one would obviously get SmackDown. To me, with all the change and everything you're doing with SmackDown and Raw being what it is, Raw's Raw, SmackDown's the struggling thing. So to me, it makes the most sense and is the most obvious decision to have Shane, the new over babyface. It's hard to call him new, but the over babyface that has come back, the prodigal son returning. It makes more sense for him to do SmackDown, even though everybody wants him to have Raw because Raw's the bigger show. But if you put Stephanie on SmackDown, then is anybody going to watch? People are going to go, yeah, it's live and I like that, but I don't want to support the Stephanie show. People are going to watch Raw no matter what because it's Raw, and they watch Raw no matter what. But with SmackDown, it's different. So I think that's my prediction, is that you are going to see Shane running the new live SmackDown, and that the new era, everything's going to be new for SmackDown. That's going to be the theme there, and then Raw is going to be the standard, the benchmark, but the delusional one, the one that doesn't realize that its competition is better than it is. That's how I see this whole thing kind of playing out, where I think they're going with all of it. But it is fantastic. It's long overdue. The other bits of wrestling news we had, NXT's future, unfortunately and inexplicably, is in question. They might actually, with the brand split and extension and the two live shows, they might. I've heard a lot of rumor with a lot of weight that NXT is actually going to be basically blown up, dissolved, deconstructed sometime here in the near future. I really hope that doesn't happen. I don't see how that's in the WWE's best interest, or how it really makes any good business sense for that matter, let alone as a fan of the product. but we'll just, we'll see. We'll